Fire Marshal Clammer, and our Fire Marshal, sorry, I don't remember your name.
Paul Morris.
Paul Morris.
Mark.
We have 4 items on the agenda tonight. You have fireworks law. The second item is the changes to the charter language for elections of mayor, discussion of dispensary locations, and marijuana fee structures. We'll start with the fireworks ordinance.
Only thing I have is what I promised last time, sent out there, message to mayors and managers. At this point in time, what I've gotten back is Lakeline will probably do nothing. Madison Township will probably keep it as is, but they're going to discuss in 22. Lake, nothing at this time. Painesville, nothing at this time. Menor, all they are planning on keeping the 4th of July. Their email says the residents don't adhere to the 4th of July regardless, though they have no fireworks in Menor. Obviously, they cannot, just like us, control it. Willie Hills has been discussed in 22. Painesville Township not proving anything at this time, and will be nothing at this time. Madison, also. So that's all I got from Mayor Managers at this point in time. I plan on bringing it up when we meet again in January or February, seeing if anyone's going to discuss it. Like I said, at this time, I'm going to talk to Chief Wright a little. I'll talk to Chief Williams and Paul here today just to gather some information, and we'll go from there.
So we don't hold. That's a little like you go. Did I read the same one? It doesn't go to effect from the
July.
Yeah.
I was in one section in here. Yeah, there's some of this. You have some discretion on where you can permit it. Restricted dates and times of person may discharge the road. Fireworks purchase pursuant to this section. So I don't know what ultimately the concern level that may be, but for the bill, I was just saying.
I could discuss with Paul. We don't, if someone wants to sell here, we have no areas.
We don't have any places to do it. Resale.
Yeah, so that's, I talked to him about that. If they don't want it open, we won't have any areas that probably be open, right?
The only thing Walmart can do is they can do more of spark orders and those things, smaller stuff.
You mean because of this type of bill structure?
Yeah, they're already okay to carry those, so they might be putting more stuff in there. But there's no requirement from the state marshal as far as, having vaults or safety areas. There's pretty much just any gases where they're putting it spark orders.
Have you received any direction from the state marshal?
Their state fire marshal's office just got it 2 months ago. They're still reviewing it.
Only reason I had emails and calls from residents, right? And when I did the research and sent it to the Lions office, they just sent me the 37-page document.
Yeah.
Again, it's like everything else, most of the documents. We're trying to sort it out.
Take the fire marshal's office some time to digest it.
Okay, maybe we do wait to see what the state, or we can pursue it. I mean, the only thing I've discussed in the past is maybe we just don't want all those dates. I mean, we already had Athens blown off 22 times a year, our residents blown off, whatever. Yeah, it's just going to be.
We still got a chance of actually seeing them off.
Right.
I didn't hear all the conversation, I'm sorry, Fire Marshal, but I think you said that we currently don't have any areas in the city where if someone came in and wanted to sell them, we don't have any areas in the city where we should be allowed.
We don't have any retail locations for fireworks right now. And anything that if somebody wanted to apply for it, they have to apply, get the permit through the state fire marshal.
Okay.
They're regulating all the new construction areas. The state and all those fireworks stores are going to expand in size. They're only about so many square feet. But we don't have any retail locations, so we're okay.
Okay, so that would have to come separate.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
And if anybody does want to apply for the retail, it's got to go through the state fire marshal.
No, I'm sorry? No, it would, no, if it's something the council, obviously it's something we wish to pursue it. At some point, when we're waiting until maybe we receive a little more direction from the state.
I think one of the biggest things, at least up front, is to make sure everyone's aware that it's limited to a certain date. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, fireworks are legal, when in fact, it's a certain date. We need to make sure that, everyone's aware that it's just on these dates, and we still enforce, our rules. Initially, that's what we should.
Did you guys, if I understand, you had two concerns, the actual discharge of them and then the location, you guys deal with that two issues? That I understand.
Well, and also how enforceable. Does it change anything in regards to enforcing it? Does it enforce as it is? So,
Yeah.
We had also discussed possibly doing something similar to what Leonard does with just allowing them outdoors and just allowing them the rest of the time. I'll just get down to the side. I think, again, does that allow for better enforcement by the police department, or are we really not going to get that much more enforcement anyway because they're not able to locate, so.
Yeah, it goes in the front line, 25 years, and we'll do something for that, start looking at it on April like that.
April, March, or April, maybe. Or actually have some more questions on the state by then.
Yeah, whatever I hear, I'll forward to the mayor also.
Yeah, that does for one thing, though, you might want to consider the zoning part of it too, I mean, the actual structure, it's the structure itself, whether that means the revised code requirements, you might want to deal with where you're going to put it in the zoning.
Yes, maybe it's a motion, yes. Maybe to remove from the next, so they get carried over to next year. Correct?
I think you're going to do the voting division.
No, I'm saying, this committee ends that tonight, so I think that's in here as we remove it, and they can reintroduce it next year. Okay.
Remove it from committee.
Yes.
Yes, also. Remove from committee. Next is the language change to, electoral candidate for mayor.
Yeah, this is, thanks very much, this is what we talked about, I think, just to bring the mayors in line with what we did with at large residents. Right. So it should be, you got time for that, so if you want to get it on a primary or general, just have to track it.
And I think you said it was basically one word difference.
I would need to look at it again.
Okay. Now, Mr. Scott has some concerns about residency requirements for the mayor.
He had mentioned wanting to go up to
5 years, I believe, yeah.
minutes. It would be up to the voters at that point.
Correct.
Whatever you guys want to put forward.
Right.
You could technically split it up, so you could have a vote on both of those issues, or one vote.
And if you're looking at the deadline for May, I think that's what, is it February 4th? Somewhere right in that range.
File on February 4th, that's fine.
So that would probably be the time if we're looking to do primary. Or the general. Yeah, we just have a tendency to forget about these things this week.
The only issue would be if there's some voters who are opposed to 5 years, and so they bring up that one, if you want to do 5. But that's up to you. That should be.
So like we're reviewing this one from committee tonight too.
Can we move that forward?
It doesn't matter if you leave on your side, I think.
Right, so good. Yeah, I mean, that, even if we move it forward, we don't have any legislation anyway, so.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have, whatever you tell me you want to do on that, I'll just prepare the legislation on that. And then you guys want to consider it.
You want to prepare the legislation as
It's all prepared with 5 years in it.
you want one piece or two pieces of legislation? Two separate charter amendments or one?
I don't know how controversial the 5 years is.
So,
I'm still.
yeah,
All right, well, and if you keep it at 3, it would not impact the next term, because the time it goes into effect, it would be after the election anyway. So if you have
first time and fail, and I guess you can split it, or do, I mean, I don't think it makes a difference if you split the two, the main one from conference was the first one.
Right.
Dave added about the extra years, the 3 to 5.
And in our city, generally speaking, I mean, most of our charter amendments send it to us.
Yeah.
As opposed to like.
Yeah, the charter amendment's always passed
Right.
one, so.
Well, can I recommend, do you want to take, let's take a vote on the 5-year part now? Does everybody agree on 5 years? I guess you never really have to vote.
I actually think 3 years is sufficient, I don't see any difference in 5 years.
That's what maybe you need.
But should we have a stronger requirement for mayors, which is for city council?
You would.
I would think we want a strong requirement for mayor. 5 years for mayor and maybe 3 in council.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
I would find it also.
Move forward that way. Okay, let's do that.
When we were moving from committee to legislation.
We'll do that.
We did that.
Any legislation.
Can I ask you a quick question, John? Sorry. Is the goal to make it more difficult for a mayor to be in as far as the 3 and 5? I guess that's what the goal is.
The goal is to, we have one candidate that moved into the city,
Right, no, I know, yeah.
qualified to vote, and then decided he was gonna run for mayor.
Okay,
So, where the goal of this is to, he needs to know a little bit more about the city than just moving it up, deciding to run for office.
okay.
I think I can't speak for Councilman Spock, but, I think the last meeting, he voiced some concerns about, 3 years as opposed to 5, with 5 years, being that the individual would have more of a vested interest in the community, as opposed to like Mr. Overstreet indicated, just moving in and then running for office.
Right. And I can see that point, so.
I don't think it's making it harder, it's just, I guess it just depends on what you want as the mayor of the city. If you want someone to wake up in the morning, this is what I've said out loud before, I woke up today and I want to be mayor.
Well, I
Not
think
been
it's
involved.
like ultimately it's up to the.
I agree with other people, but again, I've been in it and seen some of the areas where that happens and it doesn't work out very well, but again, with the people, I agree. The people who want 3 and don't expect anything out of the person that runs for the office, then that's what you're gonna get. So, yeah, I don't think it makes it any harder if someone wants to be mayor. They need to just, I mean, I'm gonna give a simple fact, and this was on the record somewhere else, was the person that wanted to run didn't even know the people vote on the charter. One of the charters, the election board to throw the charter out. I mean, that's kind of difficult for me, at least, to want, as someone that doesn't even know what the charter is. Well, I don't know.
Next item on the agenda is marijuana dispensary locations.
Looks like I brought up last time, I mean, the people that put them in right now had to come through us to sign off, because we didn't have any locations for zoning. But as I said, 1,430 applied from the state, we will get probably, I think it's, this time it's a lottery, it's not by scores, so we may get 0, we may get 1. So this time, if someone does apply, it has a location picked out. It's kind of hard for us to say, after the fact, no, because then they have to go through the state again and jump the hoops.
How many dispensaries are they awarding this time around?
72, I thought, he told me, out of 1,400, yeah. Little state.
Right, I understand.
So last time it was 3 between Geauga County, Portage County, and Lake County, and that's what it is again this time. And Lake County actually obviously got 2 last time, they got Ringo Cliff and Angel Township. And they all scored. This time, I don't know, bingo ball, that's awesome.
So the cultivation facility one over there, because that's the most appropriate zoning for that, they had looked at the dispensary on Vine Street, and it's dispensary effectively, a commercial.
Correct.
So it would probably wind up in, I guess it'd be one location.
Can we look into, can you look into whether or not, if we decided to, for instance, move a dispensary locations to, say, manufacturing, can you look into how it would affect the applications? I mean, will they have to, obviously, will they have to reapply, for instance?
I don't know, I'll look at it. But so you want to know whether we identify the location?
Well, I know they already have. Yeah. My question is, I know that you've already applied, my question is, if they're awarded dispensary, and we say, no, you can't put in a commercial location, you like to be in manufacturing, is that going to avoid the award of dispensary?
I would say probably,
Okay.
you just don't want to disrupt it in the process.
Right.
I think we have somebody that has applied.
Just an in-house food that if it came to us now, we'd say, if it was a new location, we'd probably say, yeah, perhaps that was industrial, I don't know. We have to look at that, because we're supposed to be directed to those facilities, but sometimes we have to look at those similar uses if they were outside of the unit. That makes sense.
I mean, obviously, the road structure, maybe introduce it next year, it's our time. I mean, look, I understand that they've applied. I mean, on the other hand, though, I mean, if we decide that we'd like it somewhere else, I mean, we're effectively basically telling them all pretty much no. It looks like this time around.
But should we have had a layer prior to their applying that would have then carried this through? Then
Yeah, it didn't come up until.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's my point.
Right. They didn't always know they were going to apply.
So we're out there right now.
Right.
Do we know the locations where they've applied so that we could, if there's any problematic locations?
Yeah. Apply Vine, apply Curtis.
That's all business and industrial there, that's not, that should be a problem.
Really, you want to touch on anything after you?
We get approval, and then the line.
Well, once it was a lottery, I think it's probably too late to go ahead.
Well, yeah, but what is exactly the one that's going to see, what can we come to do with that?
That's
I mean, I have contact in the state, and I've said other contacts, I can find that, I'll check with Congress.
Yeah, a little more research would probably be helpful.
Alright,
More information.
I will check with the state.
No. Right. Last one is the fee structure.
Yeah, I started looking at it, I don't know how Ravenna's doing it, because the statute's pretty clear that you can't impose any type of fee based on gross sales, and that's what Ravenna is. But that looks like that statute just went into effect, let's say, September. So I reached out to the letter, and I don't know, just to talk through with them, because they may not even be aware that it changed.
You indicated that, according to the email I received from you, you indicated that the Ohio legislature changed that recently, correct?
Yeah, I think it was September of this last year, and it indicates now that no political subdivision will levy any tax or fee on local dispensaries that is based on gross businesses, gross receipts, or sustained of any tax or fee imposed by the state. And that Ravenna is based on gross receipts, so.
Now, that was in prior to the legislation being changed, correct?
Yeah, that may be done with the legislation. The prohibition in the revised code. I don't know how they think they can get it. They may not have any dispensaries.
My understanding is they don't have any marijuana-based businesses and all.
What's the nearest one, in the, where?
Good open Basil Township.
Yeah, I'm looking for the paper towns that are doing that. That's pretty one sentence, pretty clear. It says, based on gross receipts, so if there's another, formula, maybe Carol has any idea, but there's another formula other than a fee based on gross receipts, that doesn't directly contradict the
And we should discuss this a little more. I mean, I had a thousand spot in some idea possibly. You and I talked about, I mean, the state of the way it does a marijuana license for all employees. Each individual, yes.
State or
The state.
that's what I'm saying, and again, that's the nut you have to get rid of too, is the state and their rules, just like we wanna do separate rules for the internet cafes, and we couldn't. I mean, when you're talking, if the state put it in, that's who runs, and we just follow their lead.
Yeah, it's tough, I think it's tough to kind of skirt the state laws, so to speak.
Yeah, so I'll look over either of those, see what the
Or anybody else, I mean, see if we can maybe find something that anybody else perhaps is doing here in the state of Ohio. I mean, was that tapped onto something else possibly, kind of snuck through, so to speak?
As far as a bigger piece of legislation, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, I think, okay.
I thought I had.
And I'm rolling on it.
Well, I'm doing the council stuff, I'm doing the mayor stuff, and then I'll find out what's going on.
We'll have a list of those little bit too, on some of this marijuana.
That brings us to the public speaking portion of the meeting. Is there anybody that wishes to address council? Seeing none, anybody else have anything for the meeting?
local committee meeting for December 28, 2021, to order at 7:01 p.m. All members of council are present except for Councilman Spot, who is absent and excused. Present in the administration is our police chief, Larry Wright, our mayor and safety director, Dennis Morgan, law director, Randy Clammer, our finance director, Carolyn Miller, our city engineer, Tom Whitaker, and acting service director, Kevin Costello. If anyone is recording this meeting as a courtesy to the public, will you please identify yourself so your fellow attendees know that being recorded. Seeing none, city clerk is recording this meeting. Under legislation proposed, we have an ordinance to reappropriate the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2021, and ending December 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency. Michelle?
Thank you. If you look at the first line for finance, what we're doing is adding $700 to the payroll line and taking $700 out of the other line. The retro pay from the union settlement earlier this year, my estimate was up a bit. I think it's the only one really that went off, but it was off, so I'm asking for permission to make that adjustment. The next line, city income tax and miscellaneous, if you look at those two combined, you'll see that they net out to zero. We found out that there was a huge refund requested on income tax, corporation estimate, and we don't have enough money truthfully to cover that tax, so we're asking for permission to pull it out of our miscellaneous where we carry our hospitalizations and our workers' comp and things like that, and putting it into the income tax line so that we can cover that refund. If you look at the East Lake Senior Center line and the following line that says East Senior Citizen Trust, you'll see that those lines all wash themselves out. What happens is, at the beginning of the year, actually this year, we've already done the senior grant, so the senior levy, you approved it, the acceptance of the grant just last meeting. And we request money be spent in a certain fashion, then they decide whether they like our fashion or they make a tweak to it. But we have the right to amend that grant at the end of the year as we're wrapping up our year. And since we were not in full operation, we asked that we apply more money towards payroll this year instead of as much to miscellaneous activities. And they approved that grant, and therefore we're just doing a flip-flop so that we can satisfy accounting purposes the matching of the grant monies to what they finally approved in terms of how we spend it. You go down to the special revenue insurance proceeds, you'll see that we'd like to have the ability to spend a little additional under insurance proceeds. And not just because we got more money back from the insurance company, we're just matching the revenue with the expenses. And then the federal grant fund, that came about because there's been various grants that Health and Human Services has been putting out for ambulance runs, whether you're a low-end revenue or you carry some rural person or all kinds of unusual reasons. And this all relates to the ambulance and COVID. And so we just keep sending in the ask and they keep giving us money. So we're really happy, but now we need to spend it. So that's to change the line item to match the grants we've received. That should be it. Any questions?
Any questions for Michelle? Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 12-28-02, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement for the purchase of 2.44 acres of city-owned property located on Brook Drive, Flint, Ohio, to Christopher and Michelle Dulcer for the amount of $5,000 and declaring an emergency.
So we've been working with the Dulcer family for a little over a year now. They had Tom involved, the law director and the Dulcers. Dulcers are here in the audience today if you'd like them to get up and explain what they're going to be doing with the property and why they'd like to have that. So I came up with $5,000. It's landlocked. There's nothing of no use for the city. And if you walk here, I told some of these emails me if you want to meet with the Dulcers and walk here to do so. You'll see that there's really nothing for us to do. As I've said before, hopefully, if I have time through this winter, I know Carolyn and I have trying to do this the last few years, we can go through all our properties and start trying to see if our residents want some of the property instead of especially maintaining the ones with trees fall, we've got to cut down and that, Chris, you want to talk about what you want to do? I did send you guys the packet that you probably read off of today.
So real quick before we start this, okay, understand, based on, they would have to go to the planning commission to get approval for the lot split. We had them come here for you, before they spend the money on the engineering or the planning commission, so that's what they want. So that's why we had them come here, and they would approve it.
And they'll also pay for all that.
Right.
They wouldn't pay for the lot split. And that's what we're engineering. As Randy said, it all comes at another $10,000, $15,000, you guys aren't okay with selling it.
Thank you. Basically, we live on Brook Drive, which is a private gravel road next to Bruce Sheep Park. Me and the other couple homeowners maintain the road. It's not a city road. We have to cross, in our pack, we put some pictures, we have to cross a very old single-lane concrete bridge. It is on its last leg. I'm not a structural engineer, but it's not going to be passable forever. This is currently our only way to access our property. Obtaining this acreage, which most of it is a floodplain, couldn't build on it or anything, but it would enable us to build a long drive in the future to connect to the upper portion of Brook Drive, which is at the end of, from Upper Brook, we can access Valley Road and give us another access to our property long-term for the future, if and when someday that bridge fails. Also, fire and ambulance could not cross that bridge at this point. They can come through Bruce Sheep Park and get within a couple hundred feet of our house, but that's about it. So if we do build a long winding drive, through the woods at some point, I'd also make it nice and large and structural enough that ambulance and fire should be able to get down to the property.
Tom, am I right, what we call Upper Brook Drive, that's just a paper street?
That's just what us locally on Brook call it.
So we could, this.
Yeah. Brook Drive was washed out in the center of it. There's a very steep area that goes up that washed out before we moved in. This is a road that was probably carved by a tractor generations ago and probably was called grinding. ODOT would not probably approve this land that washed out. It's too steep and dangerous. It's not something to be played with in the future. I don't think it can be resurrected, so to speak. So we have two portions of Brook which are no longer connected. We'd be looking to connect to Upper Brook in the future through this land.
And right now, all you know that, so if there would be a fire or something up there, we have a key, from the owners of the horse farm to go through the gate there to go up into that area. That gate's always locked unless there would be an emergency, so. But they all work with the neighbor there, they have a key in case there is an emergency, so they can get out. So again, I sent it out weeks ago, you guys wanted to go. They're very reasonable with going on their property and looking at it, if you want to take a look at it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
It's quite long.
Yeah, in there.
Do you have any questions for the council?
I have a question for them, but can I ask you now?
Certainly.
So where did you come up with $5,000? Like, how did you?
I did not do any mathematical genius.
I mean,
picked the number and thought it was fair. I looked at what, you weren't involved, we did the medical marijuana, we sold that. What was it? Out of the 11 acres we sold to them, 5 was about wetland, or almost 6 acres of wetland, if I recall. They were about carried at about $5,000 an acre. That's where I came up with.
I also did some research with the county, and one of my neighbors has bought and purchased 4 oddball lots connecting to his from the city over time that are comparable to this. They're unbuildable, they're landlocked, and the county has all those appraised $1,000 per acre, so the half acre appraised at $500.
Because this is my thing is, how do you know what's the fair value? And I'm struggling with how you. Right. But 2.44 acres sounds like me, that sounds like a lot.
Absolutely.
And then it's like $5,000. So,
Let me throw this out there. So the land that we bought next to McDonald's, though I want to do an appraisal, we did an appraisal, and it cost us $6,000 or $7,000. We're gonna do an appraisal for $6,000 or $7,000. They come up with less than $5,000, we spent $7,000 for that. If I really thought there was some value there, I would price it. Plus, at the end of the day, like I said, when they start doing the things they need to do, they're gonna spend at least another $10,000 on lots, wood, everything else.
it's just,
Bigger,
just trying to
there.
understand, that's,
Well, that's why I said, one of the reasons was I said, go look at the land and then you'd understand. I mean, I get what you're saying, but if you go and look at it, it's like the people that have buildings in some cities that the phrase is 300,000, they won't come off $1 million. I mean, we can, again, like I said, we've been working on this for over a year. So it didn't just come that we just said, hey, let's do this. They did a lot of work, Tom, Randy, and I did a lot of work on it.
Any other questions? Okay. Thanks very much, appreciate it. And we'll move on to legislation number 12-28-03, a resolution authorizing direction of the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with River Reach, GPD Group, and EnviroScience, the highest score for the design build services for street bank stabilization at Erie Road Park for an amount not to exceed $365,490, as well as an amount of $15,000 for the design of the parking area and cement pad and declaring an emergency.
So if you remember, we were awarded a state capital grant a couple years ago. We finally got to bid it out. We did bid it out. We went over to get the highest scores. They were awarded the contract through us and the watershed, and this is just a pass that to get the work done. Tom has been involved, but I've been talking to Tom to make sure I was doing my due diligence, and I'm looking at the scores and all that. So I don't see anything to add at on that.
No, I'm with the mayor.
Any questions? Okay. We have no legislation, we don't have any legislation pending. For this case, we have a motion to approve the liquor license request from Catherine and Anthony's Incorporated, doing business as Anthony's Family Restaurant, located at 34931 Vine Street, East Lakeland, Ohio, 44095. Chief, do you have any issues with this?
No issues, no concerns.
Anyone have any questions for Chief? Okay. All right. Seeing none, we'll adjourn this council and whole committee meeting at 7:13 p.m. Call the regular council meeting of December 28, 2021, order at 7:13 p.m. Mr. Cassup, will you lead the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Kaczynski.
Here.
Mr. Daly.
Here.
Ms. Smith. Here. Mr. Oakley.
Here.
Mr. Sonic.
Here.
Mr. Myers.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for regular council meeting of December 28, 2021?
So moved.
Is there a second? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Oakley.
Yes.
Mr. Sonic.
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Daly.
Yes.
Ms. Smith. Yes. Mr. Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried, the agenda is approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the finance committee meeting of November 23rd, 2021?
So moved.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Oakley.
Yes.
Ms. Smith. Yes. Mr. Kaczynski. Mr. Daly.
Yes.
Mr. Sonic. Mr. Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried, the minutes are approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of December 14th, 2021?
So moved.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Oakley.
Yes.
Mr. Sonic.
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Daly.
Yes.
Ms. Smith. Yes. Mr. Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried, the minutes are approved. Next scheduled council of the whole committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 11th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Regular council meeting immediately following the adjournment of the council as a whole committee meeting. I also have an organizational council meeting which is scheduled for Tuesday, January 4th, 2022 at 6 p.m. You're all invited. So we'll move on to motions. Mr. Seneca, would you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the license request.
I'm sorry, Michelle?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Wi-Fi is working again.
We appreciate it.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Seneca?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the liquor license for Catherine and Make a motion to approve the liquor license request number 148759 from Captain Executive Report 68 Extended Restaurant located at 34931 March Street, 345.
Is there a second? Will the clerk call the roll?
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes, the motion is carried and the motion is approved. We'll move on to committee reports. I believe the only committee meeting we've had is the Ordinance Committee. Mr. Overstreet?
That is correct. There were 4 items on the agenda tonight, 3 of which were removed from committee, and 1 was moved forward. With that, I'm questions.
Any questions for Mr. Overstreet? All right, I'm seeing none. Mr. Consent, I believe the 4 meeting was canceled?
Correct.
All right, we'll move on to recognition of the public. Floor is now open for recognition of the public. Is there anyone who wishes to address council?
I have a goal to sign in with there.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything else.
Okay. All right, seeing no one, we'll move on to the legislation proposed. Will the clerk please read legislation number 12-28-01?
An ordinance to reappropriate the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2021, and ending December 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings? Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic? Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. The motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 12-28-02?
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement for the purchase of 2.44 acres of city-owned property located on Brook Drive, East Ohio, to Christopher and Michelle Boulder for the amount of $5,000 and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
I move to adopt.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. The motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 12-28-03?
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with Riverby EPC Group and EnviroScience to hire Forward Design Build Services for the streaming stabilization at Jerry Road Park for an amount not to exceed $365,490, as well as an amount of $50,000 for the design of the parking area and boat ramps and cab and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
I move to adopt.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. We have no unfinished business, we have no new business. We're on to our administrative reports. The first report is from our mayor and safety director, Dennis Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome to this evening's meeting, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the chiefs and the directors. Over the last few weeks, we've been having some issues with COVID running rapidly through our campus, and just we thought with some scheduling and making sure that our residents are still being taken care of through all that. So I'd like to thank them for that. We're still working a few other items today. I talked to, especially the chief, that we're working through. So we can get through this. I actually have a meeting tomorrow morning, 8:30 with the rest of the American managers in the health district, to go over the new CDC guidelines that I sent out to the directors and chiefs this morning, with the change from the 10 days to the 5 days, and so we're gonna get a lot of those rules clarified in the morning with American managers. They have a couple out that I okay to come back to work tomorrow. So we're just gonna end up dealing through that. Other than that, I was off, so I'm on vacation. So we've been dealing with some other things in between that. Today, I don't know, today, someone else got contact with the chief and I have. So at first on Christmas Day, on my personal phone, we got an alert that someone's walking up the street putting coal in mailboxes. When I first saw that, I thought it was just, I didn't think it was anything coal, because it was someone walking their dog, but I didn't know if they were just being not neighborly to the neighbor. So today, between, we got calls from the lake line there, about 7 of our residents, gave all the addresses to the chief on Lake Shore, where someone has decided to put coal in everyone's mailbox. Don't quite understand that, so chief's looking into some things. He's talked to a couple of them, giving some ideas. But yeah, it's an odd thing happening, and again, on the video, there's a man walking the dog, so I couldn't quite understand, but it was just odd today, and it's not called on it. So looking into that, and like to wish everyone a happy new year, and Todd, would you come down here for a second, John? So as you know, this is Todd's last meeting until future. So I'd just like to thank you for everything you've done for the city while you've been on council. I appreciate it, and I know we're talking with you on a couple of committees, so I appreciate you wanting to do that. And with that, I'd like to give you the city. And again, we appreciate everything you did for us, and I know you'll continue to work with all of us to try to move our city forward. So again, I appreciate that.
Appreciate what you've done. Roll up from everything.
Oh, wow. Pleasure to serve you.
That concludes my report. Open for questions.
Any questions for that? Seeing none, we'll move on to our police chief, Larry Wright.
All I have to report right now is we will be doing a promotion, will be effective on January 3rd. Sergeant Tim Hauser will be hired off the schedule. He'll be off the books in February. We'll be a replacement in there, which is Mike Ward, canine officer. So he'll be moving into that position. We have a new officer that will be getting sworn in on January 10th. Again, those are both for payroll purposes. The council president, as far as doing something ceremonial, and looking forward to just a constant evolution and change that will continue. We have one more planned retirement in October, nothing else planned at this time, and so hopefully we'll just get these guys trained up to speed and move on from there. Questions?
Any questions for the chief? Very good, thanks, chief. We'll move on to our service director, Kevin Stelling.
So in the last couple of weeks, we were fortunate enough to team up with the city of Flowood, bring over some equipment and a couple of employees to give us a hand with grinding down some of the humps on Vine Street as well as Curtis Boulevard. They are temporary repairs because we're not making asphalt now, so it's something we'll have to address in the summertime, but it's better than driving over a speed bump, in our opinion. So, we completed the picnic tables that we had to rebuild. We'll start to go from park to park, continuing with that program, repairing any tables that need repaired. We completed
14 work orders, 11 die tests. The catch basin program we continued with, which we made our way through the remainder of Surfside, down Erie Road and into Garrett's Cove and Yachtman's Cove. We continued with the street sweeper, which is now down and then we can repair. We won't go to the extent of that until we go back to work. The boiler, we had a boiler repair here in City Hall, that basically the inside was completely rebuilt. Due to heat and rusting away. And with that, I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year, and I'm open for questions. Any questions from the search firm?
We got a temporary.
Very nice. Oh, I didn't see it.
Beautiful. You're welcome.
Did I fall off the edge?
And with that, we'll move on to our city engineer, Tom Weber.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council, Mr. Mayor. I think the report engineering has caused no mayhem in the past couple of weeks. I'd like to wish you all a happy new year.
Any questions from this board? Seeing none, we'll move on to our finance director, Caroline Schindel.
Thank you, we're in the process of wrapping up our last year, getting prepared for our year-end closes. And starting the budget, so, we're just getting questions right now.
Any questions from the Schindel? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our law director, Randy Clammer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Belli again. I really appreciate you always being willing to provide prayer for my family and friends when I needed to. I hope that we continue calling you for that, even though I certainly don't deserve it. Mr. Pledge is back. She got clearance. Her first day back was today. I just wanted to, again, compliment the chief and his staff, especially, I don't know if you guys know Ken down Mosey over there, but, and the victims advocates. You know, they work every single case, you know, the cops have their cases that they work on occasion, but the chief and Kenna and the victims advocates, they're working every single case, every single week for the most part. And what Kenna does over there is remarkable, so I want to personally thank her and tell how blessed I am. And you guys may remember, the state passed a Marshall law that gave victims a prime constitutional right that increased the load on the police department by having to make sure they attend to the victims advocates or the victims as well, so those victims advocates are working hard as well. So I'm incredibly impressed with them all, and thank you, chief, for that. And other than that, happy New Year's. Thank you.
Any questions from all of them? Okay, seeing none, the council meeting is adjourned at 7:29 p.m.